Hello everyone, how we all doing today? For those of you returning for another one of my videos, I want to say thank you. For those of you who are new to my channel, I would like to welcome you. This is Skelly by Nature. I am Skelly. And after doing my lemon drop video and speaking to a few people, one thing that people were amazed about was the fact that I can honestly sit here and say, I have not been sick. No flu, no colds, no stomach viruses, no COVID in 25 years. And a lot of it, I think, I is because I do. There's four things that I like to do, and there's 10 ingredients that I like to use. So I'm going to show you guys what it is that I do, the 10 ingredients that I believe have helped save me and keep me from getting ill. Um, so we're going to start off with the four things that I do that I believe that you can use with the 10 ingredients and make mixtures in different cough syrups or milks and things like that that have kept me from getting sick. So the four things that I'm going to show you is one is warm milk. When we're sick, a lot of us don't think of it, but one thing that's always good for us, our bodies, is warm ingredients. Things like warm milk, hot teas, steams and stuff like that. So one thing that I like to do is I like to make a mixture of what I call sweet milk. Sweet milk is basically just hot milk, and I add honey to it. For those of you who are cringing right now, it's actually not bad. It tastes pretty good. If it's something that you don't care about, you can go as well as sometimes I do it with chocolate milk. Make a hot cocoa, add some honey to it. It's actually pretty good. But the reason for the sweet milk is because it makes a great base for an antibacterial and an antiseptic mixture. It helps calm the throat, as well control inflammation. It also relieves dry cough and chest pains as well. So that's just the base of sweet milk. The second thing is tea. Many of us, when we think of getting, when we have colds and stuff like that, we think of using tea. Um, and again, we're using this hot method to help soothe the muscles in our body. So, as far as tea, the nice thing about tea is because it's a hot water and we're adding things to our tea, we're actually making what we would call somewhat of a tincture or an extraction, because whatever you add to that hot water, the hot water is extracting the nutrients and the minerals and the vitamins from whatever it is that we're using, and it's containing that in the hot water. So with teas, it is as far as extracting the nutrients of whatever it is that we're putting into it. The warm tea soothes a sore throat. It also, because of the warm, again, we're loosening up the muscles. And tea also helps with loosening up mucus in our body. So that's the second thing I like to do. The third thing that you want to pay attention to is your food. Like anything else, changing your diet can change your life. And we are what we eat. And so sometimes you need to pay attention to that, of what we're intaking, because when a lot of people don't think about it, but when we intake bad foods, say fast foods, greasy foods, processed foods, we're actually doing damage to our immune system, because our immune system now needs to work to beat the toxins that are in those foods. So we are weakening our immune system when we want our immune system to be on peak. So keep that in mind, the types of foods you're eating. And I also am saying foods because the 10 ingredients that I'm going to introduce you to can be added to what it is that you are making, as well as using it, again, paying attention to the things that we eat. Now, the fourth thing is something that I think is very important, is hydration. I believe that there's many ailments that we suffer today due to dehydration. A lot of us don't drink the proper amount of water. And part of the reason is because hydration helps maintain body temperature, which can help with, keeping down a fever. It also helps in removing toxins and waste from our body. It helps increase our blood flow, and as well as it also lubricates our joints, so we're not getting achy and feeling sore. But as far as just our bodies being hydrated, the other thing that you should be doing in the time of winter is hydrating your air. Um, it, Colds and flus tend to happen more in the winter time because the air is dry. Viruses and flus and germs float in the air, and they have an easier time floating in dry air than they do humid air. So keep that in mind. Okay? So now let's move on to the 10 items that I like to use, that I believe, help with beating ailments and beating the cold. So the first is one that a lot of us think about. We're going to be talking about honey. When you buy cough syrups or cough drops or anything like that, honey is usually one of the ingredients in there. And partly because honey is great for soothing sore throats. It reduces symptoms of upper respiratory tract infections. And in general, honey also carries a lot of good vitamins and minerals. So, in a lot of nutrition. The second thing is something that I tend to really push on everyday use, not just during flu season, not just but in general, for general good health, is peppermint or anything that's in the mint family. Peppermint is the go-to, but if you got cocoa mint or water mint or anything like that, they do carry a lot of the same characteristics, but peppermint to me, is what I use, and by far the best. It's easy to grow. I will include my peppermint video down below so that if you guys are interested you can watch that, because peppermint has a ton of good health benefits for us. But for this situation, the good thing about peppermint is peppermint boosts the immune system, and the better and more the better our immune system is, the more ready it is to fight off any toxins, any viruses, and anything in our bodies. So, the other thing that peppermint is good for is it does work as a decongestant. So, that's another thing to pay attention to. Peppermint also helps in reducing fevers. It eases headaches and also calms our stomach. So, again, good health is good gut health. That's one of my beliefs. So peppermint is one reason why that's one of my go-tos. So with peppermint, you can use peppermint in your tea. You can add it one of my favorite things is making hot chocolate. Add a little peppermint to that hot chocolate. You can use peppermint in straight leaf form. If you want to make an oil, is a great way of doing it. And again, like I said, I'll put my video down below for you to show you how to make an oil. But I'll take some peppermint oil, put a few drops in my hot cocoa, and you get a nice mint hot chocolate, which is wonderful. So the third ingredient that I'm gonna show you guys is your fruit. Okay, is typically berries, lemons, oranges. When we're sick, a glass of orange juice. Most cough syrups and cough drops you'll see a lot of times contain lemon. Any type of berry is usually pretty good because of the high content of vitamins and minerals. Vitamin C is what we're mainly looking for, but many of the other vitamins are very beneficial as well. So what's good about fruit is that fruit actually helps fight against disease. It helps, again, boost the immune system, and also as well as helps reduce inflammation. So keep that in mind. The fourth thing I'm going to tell you is something that you're not going to probably see too often. It's usually not on a lot of lists. But I know onions, I have, believe is a great source for help fighting off ailments, because onions help soothes your lungs. And what that does is it's clearing out our lungs. It's bringing mucus to come up, and the more we can get rid of that mucus, and the better off we are. That's where germs like to get into the mucus of our body, and that's how they germinate. They feed off that mucus. Um, so it also, onions as well is great for fighting inflammation. And so people say, well, what am I going to do with onions? Well, you can make your dinner with onions. You can also bake an onion, mix it with a little bit of I'll bake an onion, break it down real fine, and add it to my sweet milk. And sometimes that, you can use that as kind of as a cough syrup per se. Um, and the other thing too is that I've tried in the past. I've read research on it. I've had, research say that it does work. There's some research that says it doesn't work. I actually tried this with a friend of mine. She was sick. I went over to bring her some cough drops. I took an onion, I cut it in half, I put it in a bowl. We put that bowl by her bedside. And then I took the other half of that onion and I brought it to my house. I put it in a bowl, put it by my bedside. And when she woke up in the morning, she had little black dots in her onion. When I woke up in the morning and I wasn't sick, I had nothing. My onion was fine. It was just kind of obviously dried up a little bit. So the belief is that onions attract germs, and that's supposedly how that works. Whether it does or not, I don't know. I can't sit here and positively say it does, but as far as my little experiment, she had little black dots in hers. I didn't. So maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. It could be worth a try anyway. It's an onion. So that's how we can use onions. Now, the fifth thing that I'm going to talk about is something that you don't hear about. Matter of fact, if you look up in the internet and you go through, say, the best things to use for an ailment or colds or coughs, this is hardly ever on the list, and it kills me because it's actually probably one of the best things for ailments, and that is white horehound. White horehound is not a big plant. It's not a plant that you hear a lot of people talk about, but I find it amazing when it comes to fighting colds and flus. Now, you don't see it in many cough drops, but if you know Ricola cough drops, their secret is horehound. That weird flavor that you get the um, out of their cough drops compared to other people's is they use horehound. And horehound's great because it reduces fevers, it breaks down mucus in our body so we can get rid of that mucus in our body. Again, we get rid of that mucus and we're getting rid of the breeding grounds for germs and viruses and things like that. The other thing with horehound too is it promotes good digestion. And again, our gut health is huge when it comes to keeping our body completely healthy. The more that we have our immune system fighting, say, things that are in our stomach, like toxins and waste and things like that, the less it has to fight against the viruses and the diseases that are in our body. So the idea is, promoting good digestion, getting rid of those toxins, get rid of that waste that's in our body. The other thing with horehound is it eases inflammation. And it also, the other thing with horehound that it promotes sweating, and it helps detoxify our bodies from anything that we'd like to try to get rid of. You know, back in the day, my mom always said, you know, you go sweat it out, you know. And so that's what Horehound can help do. Um, so the sixth ingredient that I'm going to tell you is thyme. Oh, so let me get back to the Horehound. So the Horehound, a lot of times, what you can do is actually use it in tea. You can sprinkle it on your food. It's kind of a licoricey taste, but it's probably best if you use it in a tea and do tea form. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is thyme. Um, Thyme is great. It's one of those herbs and spices that that I is a go-to for me during the winter time. Part of it is because thyme will actually kill bacteria and viruses. It's the one thing that actually does kill the cells of bacteria. Um, and so that's why I like thyme. And it, again, thyme also helps relax the muscles. And thyme also helps open up our airways. It helps with congestion. It helps our lungs. It helps our lungs expand and breathe a little better. And so that's what we're looking for when we're sick, because you're trying to get rid of that congestion. So the seventh ingredient, we're going to be talking about hot peppers. Um, hot peppers, yeah, hot peppers. Maybe I don't get sick because I eat a lot of hot peppers. I'm a very spicy person. I love my spices to a point where, I mean, I eat habaneros and all kinds of hot peppers like straight out. I love my hot peppers. So maybe that's probably the secret right there is hot peppers. But what do hot peppers do? Hot peppers actually help in relaxing muscles. They reduce pain and they help ease inflammation. So, where do we use hot peppers? You can make a mixture of hot peppers, and you can put it and use it in your food, things like that. Add it to your food. Like I said, I'm a person that I sit down, you know, have a sandwich and some peppers and some potato chips, you know, something like that, you know. But get it, you know, use hot peppers whatever way you can, or and if you're a person that I have come across, you know, a bunch of people who can't do hot peppers. So if you can't or don't like hot peppers or can't take the hot or the spiciness of a hot pepper, paprika is another one that's not so spicy. It's usually very palatable. And paprika is very easily usable in food. You know, whether you're making eggs or anything like that. I put paprika on a lot of stuff, you know, mashed potatoes and any vegetables. You know, corn is great with paprika. Green beans is great with paprika. So these are ways that you can just sprinkle a little bit on your food and use paprika in that way. So the eighth thing that I'm going to talk about is carrot juice or carrots in general. And the reason I'm going to say carrots is because carrots are highly loaded in antioxidants, and they've got a lot of great vitamins and a lot of great minerals. And so these are things that, again, are going to help fight off our colds and viruses. So the ninth thing that you're going to see, and you do hear about every once in a while, is ginger. Now, ginger is, when it comes to herbs and spices, ginger is probably one of the best spices that has a ton of minerals and a ton of nutrients is in it. And if you take ginger and you shave it down, you can use it in part of a tea combination. You know, a great tea that I like to make every once in a while is I'll take a little bit of Horehound, a little bit of thyme, a little bit of ginger, and you put that all together. If you get a tea ball, you can use it and strain it through a tea ball. If you don't have something like a tea ball, you can also make that combination and put it in a coffee filter and run it through a coffee filter and make your tea that way. And that combination of Horehound, thyme, and ginger actually makes a really great tea. And so, again, a tea form is a good way for that. So the last one I'm going to tell you should be no surprise to anyone. It's chicken soup. Um, just making a chicken soup and a chicken broth is really good because, again, one thing that chicken soup and chicken broth does is it helps fight infections. Now, the other reason I'm going to say chicken soup is because many of the ingredients that I just gave you can be added to your chicken soup and, again, help boost that chicken soup and make and use the ingredients to fight against our ailments. And so those are the 10 things and the 10 ingredients I like to use in many combinations. Like I said, whether it's in warm milk, whether it's in tea, it's adding it to my food. Those are the things that I believe have helped me stay healthy and not get colds and sicks and fevers and things like that. So I hope this video was very informative for you guys. I hope you guys learned a couple things, maybe one or two things. I know some of the things that I did point out are things that are pretty obvious, but sometimes we miss the obvious. We overlook the obvious and don't understand why we use these. So hopefully this brings these back to the forefront of your mind. And remember to use these things and to help not get sick, because the best way of fighting a cold is don't get the cold. Don't catch that flu. Keep your bodies at where their immune system is running high and we don't get sick. Not getting sick is the best way to beat getting sick. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed. Share this video with anyone that you think might be interested in it. If you have any comments or any questions that you would like me to answer, or anything else to add to this video as well. If you know something, sometimes there's little secrets out there that I don't know about. So if there's something else that you know or you believe is helping you stay healthy, please drop us a comment down below. Let everybody know. And until the next video, be beautiful, be awesome.